All right. Chapter 7, Rewiring the Brain. Let's go over this. Okay, this is huge. This is really where the rubber meets the road and you start to make some major changes. Okay, this chapter is where the internal work starts paying off. Tendler explains that all the emotional patterns you've identified, FOMO, tilt, hesitation, greed, are like grooves in your brain. Okay, and until you've trained them to be something else, they are just your standard default wiring as a human. Okay, remember, you're not broken, you're human. All right. They have been reinforced by years of reputation, repetition. All right, there we go. Repetition. All right. I've had many people reach out to me like, oh, I've been a failure for 3 years. Okay, so now you have to rewire your brain because you've been failing and practicing for 3 years. You have to rewire that. Let's talk about that. All right. The key to change, rewiring those grooves through repetition, awareness, and correction. Okay. The awareness part, guys, you got to be real with yourself. Okay. You're not just trying harder to be disciplined. Okay. You can't just try harder this into the right direction. Okay. You just can't. You're actively replacing the emotional response with a trained and correct one. You read Extreme Ownership by Jocko. You read that book. Okay. These Navy SEALs don't just they just don't try hard, right? They train themselves very specifically for emotionally intense situations, specifically. Okay. They don't read about how to kick in a door overseas and infiltrate a house that's full of terrorists. They don't read about it. They go and they practice it, right? They get themselves in this like intense training so that way when they get to the real deal, they've emotionally trained themselves. They have replaced the standard fight, flight, or freeze brain response with a trained, corrected one. And that's what Tendler is telling us. You can't just suppress an emotion, you have to teach the brain a better response. Okay. You're either going to get a default response from the emotion or you're going to get one that you've trained. You pick which one you want. Okay. I'll take the trained one because my defaults are not my default responses to emotional trading the market is not profitable. Okay. So rewiring the process involves recognizing the trigger in real time. Okay, I shared in a video about the tilt. I went on tilt. I was able to recognize it in real time. I interrupted it. I injected logic, and then I'm going to keep doing that until it becomes second nature. Okay. All right. So let's go. Rewiring the process involves recognizing the trigger in real time, interrupting the automatic response, the reaction, right? The automatic one, the default of our brain. We're going to stop that. Okay. Don't take a trade immediately. Stop. Okay. You're we're not at a time-based liquidity anymore. Your first trade was wrong. That's okay because that's normal. You're gonna lose 40% of the time. Um, Stop. And interrupt the automatic action. Do not take a short immediately after getting stopped out on that long. Stop. Inject the logic. You're not gonna catch every trade, and that's okay. Wait for the next setup. Okay. And then repeat this process until it's second nature. All right. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. You deal with FOMO, you deal with tilt, you deal with any of these things, and you start to interrupt your natural default reaction. You inject the logic and then you replace that behavior with the one that you want. It's going to change, it's going to flip your trading on its head. Okay. So, key takeaways from this chapter. Okay. Your emotional reactions are conditioned habits, not personal flaws. Okay. It's default wiring for your brain. You're a human. Your emotions happen, and then your brain has a natural default to it. Okay. You need to retrain that default. All right. Just like I did, just like I have in the past, and how I'm continuing to do it daily, and I'm going to continue to do it in the future as well. Okay. So your emotional reactions are conditioned habits, not personal flaws. Don't take this personally. You're a human. Okay. You can't rewire by suppressing emotions. You must interrupt and replace them. All right. You can't become an emotionalist trader. I don't know how many times I'm going to say these things. And some of these things in the videos, you guys might as well just comment down below. Stop saying that. But it's so true. You can't just become an emotionalist robot. Okay. Um, but you can interrupt and replace your default reactions. Okay. When I'm wrong and something went against my daily bias, which I don't use anymore, I would just want to like make myself right. Like, man, we were bullish on the day. So I'm going to take a long after long after long. And man, one of these longs is going to work out. Problem is, I took 4 losses and maybe my daily bias was wrong for the day. And I wasn't okay with being wrong. All right. So being okay with being wrong for me was huge. All right. So injecting the logic is the core tool. Train your brain to respond with clarity under pressure. Like I said, these Navy SEALs don't just like allow their natural default to be like, okay, so when we get over there, guys, it's going to be really emotional, and I'm going to need you to like, kick in the door and make all these, you know, emotional decisions as you're sweeping this house, and I want everybody to be safe, okay? Nah, man, they are going over there like they've emotionally trained themselves to operate logically under extreme stress, okay? And if you guys don't think trading is extreme stress, I'm not comparing it to what our wonderful veterans do and what our wonderful Navy SEALs and, other, you know, branches of the military, like their stressful situation. I'm not comparing it. Okay. But it is real to recognize that trading can be extremely stressful. And if you don't have training on how you're going to respond during those stressful situations, as one of my mentors says, stress makes you stupid because you're going to respond emotionally, pretty much like the market makers want everybody to, right? I mean, we've all seen it, we've all heard about it. There you go. Okay. So you need to train your brain to respond with clarity under pressure. The more precisely you define the problem, the more accurately you can fix it. Okay. I hated being wrong. Now I'm getting better at it. I'm getting much, 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 much better at being wrong. Okay. It's been fantastic. It's been very freeing to be wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's been very freeing to allow myself to be wrong. I don't get emotionally charged from it as much. Okay. The more precisely you define the problem, the more accurately you can fix it. Let that sink in. Okay. So rewiring takes time, repetition, and consistency. Okay. This is where that journaling comes in. This is where being real and open with yourself live while you're, in the market trading. You got to do this stuff consistently, and you got to do a lot of time, right? They don't just say, oh, Navy SEALs. Okay. Well, we got a 30-day training camp for you guys, and then you're going to be ready to go. All right. So, okay. 10 push-ups a day, 5 sit-ups, 3 pull-ups. You guys will be ready to go. No problem. Nah, man. The intense training they go through is crazy, right? And I'm not one, so I don't know, but I've just heard. And you read that book, Extreme Ownership, it will positively affect your day trading, in my opinion, applied correctly. Okay, so let's talk about some action steps, some things that you can actually do. Define one emotional pattern to rewire. For example, FOMO, tilt, revenge, hesitation. Write out a full pattern using trigger, thought, emotion, behavior, result. Okay. Mine was definitely revenge. Okay. But let's take FOMO into account. So let's create a custom logic statement. For example, if I chase, I lose, right? Missing a trade means I'm protecting my edge. So what? If my edge isn't there and the market just runs without me, let it go. Who cares? Okay. It's easy to say, hard to do, but you can do it. You can train yourself. Okay. My job is to execute clean setups, not to catch every move. All right. Use this when the emotion arises to anchor your decision making. All right. So as you're doing this and you feel the emotion of the FOMO and you're like, man, I'm missing out. Just stop saying, if I chase, I lose. And it's not about the outcome, because you might win that trade, you might lose that trade. That's not what I mean. If I chase, I lose. I train myself to do something wrong. I am not replacing FOMO with a, constructive, like, behavioral pattern that is going to benefit me for the long run. Okay. I am teaching myself to do something wrong. Missing the trade means I'm protecting my edge. I will wait for my edge at the next time-based liquidity. I missed this one. So what? Moving on. Okay. That's the kind of thought process you need to have. And it really is helpful. I was very surprised when I started doing this, how impactful it was, how the emotion would just fade away. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. My brain was so in the moment, so focused on this trade's outcome or this day's outcome, that when I stopped and injected the logic and allowed my brain to pull back and look at the long term, it was amazing, the relief. Okay. So hokey, whatever. I don't care what you want to call this. It works. Okay. Use this when emotions arise to anchor yourself in your decision making. Okay. Track reps, not just results. Okay. I've had many people send me their P&L sheets and they're like, oh, what can I do better here? I'm like, I don't know. What am I looking at? I just sent you 50 trades. You can go look at them and then assess each trade and, see what I could have done better on each trade. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to delete this sheet. I don't need to look at it. What is your strategy? And, can you send me your strategy in, less than a paragraph or two, hopefully less than that. And what I want to know is, out of those 50 trades, which one of those is your strategy? And then which ones are FOMO? Which ones are over trading? Which ones didn't even have your strategy in sight and you took anyway? Like, that's what I want to see, right? Okay, so you're gonna stop tracking P&L like a madman or woman. Okay, you're gonna track your reps, and what I mean by reps is each time you successfully notice a trigger, you pause, use your logic statement, and you make a better choice. That's a win. That's a W right there. That's what you celebrate. You're like, hey, family, wife, girlfriend, whoever, grandma, we're going out for ice cream. Why? Because of my day trading today. Oh, wow, did you get a big payout? No. I wanted a FOMO and I didn't. Let's go get an ice cream. Reward yourself for that. Give yourself a cookie. Put that little gold star on your kindergarten chart. That's the stuff you celebrate, okay? Those are the reps that you're trying to wire into your brain, okay? When you take an L or a W, there's a lot of dopamine going on in your brain, so you're naturally getting some kind of risk or punishment or reward going on there. All right, I don't want to get into all the psychology. I'm not a psychologist, but when you reward the proper behavior, right, like stopping your FOMO or stopping your tilt, that is worth celebrating. Reach out to your guys and be like, dude, I took a W today. And they'll be like, oh, how much did you get? You're like, nothing. I got negative $500, but I didn't FOMO. And hopefully they're traders of the mindset. They're like, dude, that's great. FOMO's hard. I deal with that all the time, man. How did you overcome it? Okay, you guys get what I'm saying? I'm telling you, it'll flip your trading upside down. All right. Grab one or two emotional patterns. For me, it was being wrong, tilt, and revenge. I know that's a lot, but most of those kind of coincided, right? Like, I'm wrong, so I went on revenge, and then I ended up on tilt, right? So those are the things that I kind of wanted to work on. Okay, keep the cycle going. The brain needs repetition. Every time you mess up, log what happened, adjust, and go on again. Just go. Just keep going. Keep walking forward. Rewriting the process. Rewriting is a process. Every correction is one less step back to the old you. Okay? So every correct decision is one less step back to the old you. I hope that makes sense. Okay? I'm not the best writer in the world here. I try to use ChatGPT to help clean things up, but every correct decision is a step forward, okay? And you're becoming a better version of yourself as a trader and hopefully in life, okay? So let's get into some encouragement. Okay. This chapter flips the script. You are not at the mercy of your emotions anymore. You are actively retraining your brain, and you can. All right. Seriously, trying not to yell in the mic out of excitement. But I was one of the most craziest emotional traders out there. I really was. That's why I have such a heart for people that struggle. All right. If you want to join my free community down below, I don't even have affiliates at this point. I don't have anything. You just join for free. We'll chit chat and talk, whatever, right? I'll encourage you. I'll probably just point you to people like, hey, you need an edge, go here, And yes, you can look at my edge. You can use my edge. It's fine. I don't care, right? But this is where you can flip the script. This is where you can take charge of your emotions and you can actively retrain yourself to be the trader you know is profitable. And that's why you're stuck in this, because you know you can do it, right? And that means every small win matters and you celebrate those small wins. And remember, a win is not P&L. A win is not a green day. A win is you responding to the market and your emotions the way that you have planned and with your edge, okay? Each time you stay calm under pressure, hold the line, or skip a bad setup, you're not just saving a trade. You are building a new version of you. And I just want to say, keep going, and the results will catch up to the reps. Okay. You keep repping. You're going to get ripped. Okay. You're going to be flexing. All right. And I'm just telling you, if I can do it, I'm telling you can do it. Okay. So I hope this has been encouraging for you. Just drop a like, send this to someone you think that'll help them. I highly recommend this book. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Just go get it, go read it, and then do the work and go through it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.